Koreax Sword of Judgement. I must probably start with that instead, right? So, hello everyone, today then, to the Hagane video. And of course, I'm a sucker for anything named sword. Obviously the first one with Hagane is like the 5 legendary sword, right? But this one is called the sword, right? But for that matter though, Sword of Judgement was also the most voted thing in my last Hagane video. There's this new system here on YouTube now, where you can have quizzes, and I've so far used it mostly for this thing, right? Where I can say, okay, what should be the next song from this band? Maybe another band check out, right? So, you know, always try to find the new songs, right? New shows, whatever. You get my point, right? New games and so forth, right? So I think I kind of like this point here, where you can be like, oh, what should be the next thing, right? Otherwise, I guess quiz is supposed to be more like, did you, I don't know, like this episode that we are reviewing or something, or is this worth the money or whatever. But I kind of like this thing here too, right? So yeah, so I would have a new quiz later as well then for the next Hagane song as well. But anyway, let's go into Sword of Judgement. This probably is not in the in the live performance side, the water sound here. It's probably music video only, right? So, as with every Hagane song I heard so far, right, it starts out with a massive good intro. They have a very, very powerful, very quick tempo openings. I really like them with Hagane. It goes out right at the gate drive, it's like bam, 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 bam. Yeah, gotta love that, right? So, that absolutely is what I feel so far with this band, right? They're always like hitting you immediately in the guts, right? Yeah, sucker punching you a little bit now, but it's always very, very like, right? It started off with that kind of like, it's nice little, you know, watery sound, like shh. Then immediately it goes bam, you know, it explodes right as soon as they kind of like, a few seconds there. Another side I'm thinking about though, what should be in the video, and it's probably true for the video, right, is that I'm thinking a lot of BABYMETAL though, right? Obviously, you know, I go down last year in this whole like, you know, metal Japanese girl band kind of thing, right? This certainly, from a visual standpoint, like a visual here, right? Looks like it could be 10 different band-made visuals. They love doing this. I also, you know, it's like same with anime officers, standing on a cliff, you know, standing on a cliff. This is like so many Japanese visuals standing on a cliff or like next to water or next to a mountain, right? You know, it's either you're standing here like on the beach, right, on a cliff, or you're standing on a mountain looking down through a forest, right? So visually it feels very, very Japanese. So many things. But for example, then BABYMETAL, they have like 6 different videos where they're standing on the same location, basically. They look exactly the same, right? And the wind is blowing in the hair, and they have some cool outfit on them. So yeah, visually it really reminds me of BABYMETAL, like massively much so. Knuckle shredding. As always, right? Got amazing technical skills, very, very technical. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing seeing her finger movements, right? I should maybe have a guitar instead of it. I was like, huh. I'm sorry, I should not laugh at this thing, right? But as a side note, sorry, but as I really shouldn't, but there was this clip, right, going viral, like a few days ago, before I recorded this thing here, right, of a woman, right, grabbing her katana with her hand, right, Like she it falls out of its seat, right, and it falls out, and she grabs it like that, right, cuts all her fingers, right, but she loses the fingers, right, and it went viral. And I have to say immediately, when I was doing the whole, like, I'm gonna guitar play now with my sword here, showing my shredding movements, right, I was like, maybe I shouldn't do that, but the difference here, right, like I said, maybe I should talk about this, but whatever, let's be honest here, is that a lot of people, right, shouldn't own a katana, right, okay? This person, right, she's holding the katana here, right, she's grabbing it in some, here's like an accessory on here, right, like a guard, yeah, she's holding it in that one, and then it falls out of its seat, right, because she's holding it. Anyone who owns an actual sword, has a 5-meter sword, right, Sword of Judgement, knows you have to grab the sword all the way at the tang. Right? The tang is the metal piece goes into the handle. So here's the handle, right? But so the tang is part of the sword from the blade, from the jab, but it goes into the handle. So it's basically here. Some full tang goes all the way, some tang goes like here probably. So this one is a full. So you have to grab the sword here, right? Because if you give it down here, it also might slip out because the tang might not be a full all the way through, right? So everyone knows that you always have to have one hand here on your sword, right? And the other hand should be like that, right? But your dominant hand, right? If your right hand, that. If your left hand, like this, right? But one hand should always be here, right? Where the tang is the strongest, right? So then I can easily do this thing, right? No problem, right? Yeah. And even the whole, I'm gonna air guitar thing, right? To me, does feel very threatening because I'm always holding it, right, with my dominant at the tang, right? So anyway, little sword special there. But watching that video, I'm like, oh my god, man, who goddamn holds a sword like up here, right? Even though it's seated, yeah, you have to hold it always here. One hand, I can change hand of course, but one hand has always be, at where the sword hilt is the strongest, right? Jesus Christ, man, it's so ridiculous. It actually really made me angry when I watched the video. And everyone is like copies. Oh, she dropped it. Oh, it's not her fault. It's instinct to grab it. But the instinct is the problem that you would hold the sword like up here to begin with, right? You would hold the sword down here, right? Like this to me feels incredibly unnatural. Like I never normally would ever grab a sword. I would grab it here, right? That being said, I'm making sure that it's really thick though. But before I do this thing, right? But anyway, it's some sword nerdy thing now, but seriously, yeah, people shouldn't own swords if they can't handle them. It's harder than that. Let's keep going, but I keep thinking about that now. But yeah, let's reach into the Shred Hero. This is the best moment so far in this video. Okay, Enigma. I also like the Warband Enigma. It's cool. Okay, first and foremost then, the visuals, right? You know I like my nail blue polish, right? No, but clearly, it's a right decision, right? To make a music video at a cliff, but, you know, to make it here, right? In the wind and so on. Had this cool, like, heroic mantle, right? Yeah, well, it looks great. It looks great. When I see the band, they really have this, like, I want to say azure color, right? Blue and white, yeah. Azure, so you pronounce the word. I never understood how that word is pronounced. Azure, like the Microsoft thing, right? Or lapis lazuli, something like that. But anyway, yeah, they clearly had a theme going on, right? This like light blue, almost teal color scheme. It's clearly what they're going for. I mean, this is my third video now with Hagane. That's very, very obvious. I don't know what the word is in Japanese actually. Aoi is blue. But I will call this more like, you know, light blue. So yeah, leave a comment below what is the color. What is that? What is it like this kind of blue color called in Japanese? So otherwise, just call it Aoi, right? But I think that's the correct word for it, honestly. And obviously, the funny notion with Japanese, right, is that this is the same word for green and blue is the same word, right? Aoi. They also have the word Midori for green as well, right? And it's like a lab like, you know, name is Midori, and that also means like meadow, right? Something like that. It's like maybe like not a garden, but if I'm correct now, Midori also means like some kind of like flower bed or something. But anyway, yeah. So I like that. As I mentioned earlier, right, it's a classic Japanese standing on a cliff, fighting people, right? It's in every god of anime. It's in every Japanese rock band. I need to show a quick comparison. For example, as I mentioned earlier, right, bandmates. See, standing on next to the water, right, as a kind of cliff or something. This is just like how I mean, it's like every Japanese, you know, band and also, you know, TV shows, anime, gaming, right? They just love this visual. For that matter, though, of course, I reacted to Influencer last year, right? This is actually, I think, one of the coolest music ever made. That's why I bring it up, right? Because this kind of quarry the girls are playing it looks fantastic. It's some kind of, you know, salt mine or something, right? So if you go to my previous video, you're talking about the comment section, but this is like a quarry, right? So when you break down those things, right, you do them in shifts, right? So you get this like giant staircase basically, and yeah, and now it's like abandoned, right? So it's like water has filled out this giant hole basically, but you still have those like half giant stairs, right? So this is actually, I think, the thing about all the bandmade visuals, this is the best one, I think. Now what I've done, like, you know, I don't know, 10 plus videos of bandmade, right? I forgot music videos. This is still the best one, I think so. It's an amazing location. It's like spectacularly cool place to perform. But anyway, back to Hagane. So yeah, when I see this music video, right, yeah, it really reminds me of bandmade Influencer first and foremost. But as I said, also a bunch of other, you know, similar stuff, right? Even here it looks like a kind of hole, right? It's some kind of thing and so on. But what I'm doing with here, guys, I just bought Neo 3, right? Of course, the blade, you know, last week, which I'm beaten about now then. And that whole game is the same thing, right? You know, obviously it's a Japanese game, right? But this is like, again, from a visual standpoint, so many locations in that game has this look, right? Like you're fighting some yokais on the beach front, and it has this cliff thing, and there's some giant samurai dude standing on the cliff being like, you wanna fight me with my blade, you know, and so on. So it is very, very Japanese, and it's very fitting for a song called Sword of Judgement, right? Because this is how it always looks in Japanese visuals. You're gonna fight someone, right? There are two different ways you can do it, right? It's either this thing, I would say, or it's that kind of bamboo forest, right, you know? Some kind of like all the leaves are falling down, and it's like a ninja standing in the trees, right? Like, oh, you wanna duel me? Yeah, these two noble visuals, or obviously the castle, or like some kind of Osaka castle or whatever. But yeah, obviously the classic like giant castle thing is also, but that's like the most basic one, right? From a natural standpoint, these two are. So it's a fitting visuals, and I really like the clothing. Yeah, they have this kind of marching band feel to it, right? A little bit, but it's really adorable. And I do like the color though. I do like the color blue. Yeah, I like the color blue overall, honestly. And it's kind of fitting, especially for this like water theme here, right? With a lot of water in the beginning, you see the waves and so on. So that's pretty cool. Now let's go to the musical part then. I mean, obviously shredding here is the best part. Extremely talented. Great bass behind it. Yeah. And then coming in the voice one. So yeah, I mean, the shredding, I think won in this one again, right? Some good team to it. But of course, the rest of the band is great as well. Otherwise, as I mentioned earlier, I really like the intro again, right? You know, I'm a sucker for this, like, powerful, high-tempo intro immediately. And everyone just plays their hearts out, right? As soon as it starts. That is always really, really awesome to me. Definitely. I also just realized, making the video, when I pause here now in the review part, I was like, wait, there are 5 people in this scene, right? I was just like, because honestly, first in my brain, I was like, is this some kind of weird thing here? What they did first, I was like, maybe they recorded it wrong, you know, but maybe this is like actually, you know, like some kind of visual effect where they put her, you know, with editing in another person or whatever, right? And it's something wrong, whatever. But I don't actually know, they changed band members, right? That's happening here. Because obviously I'm coming back now. This music video is like 3-4 years old, maybe 3.5 years, since it's 3, yeah, but at least 3 years old, right? So I guess they had other members before. And you know, I had to go and like Google this and be like, oh yeah, they had all the band members, of course, before this thing. So I guess the bonus person there is one of them, right? They were comment below who is getting out. To my understanding, they lost 2 band members that year and exchanged 2 of them, the drummer and one of the people in the background in this image. So yeah. Absolutely, leave a comment below. And I'll put the quiz in this thing. I'll put the quiz in there. Who is the person? The drum, this is out, and Yuna is going to be the drummer, right? And the singer, she's still there, so yeah. So who is out of the 3 people in the background here? So honestly, I can't really tell at all. I mean, I can't really see their face, honestly, though, here, so that doesn't really help me, honestly. But I was like, yeah. But I just kind of laugh at myself. I really am watching it like, wait, are there 5 people here? And I think that this obviously happened during Reaction Part 2, right? But I mean, in most of the other frames, it was like one person, you know, one individual, right? In most of the frames. So, and I don't know, but I guess I should admit it, but I don't know, you know, it's kind of like, I didn't think about it, that I was like quickly going over it, right? But that's kind of, you know, you're pausing now, you're like, wait a minute, it's 5 people in this image. Yeah. But yeah, but I mean, for most of the music video, right, in my defense, it was like one person, right? You know, here's like one person, right? I'm not crazy, right? It's like one person, one woman, yeah. You know what I mean? All the other scenes, except here then, which is the one we're looking at, right? Has like 3 people, but it's zooming into the rest of them. Like one person, right? One person. In my defense, right? That's like one of the only 2 frames really when you kind of see all of them, right? In every other frame, yeah, it's like one person, one person, right? I'm not losing my mind right now. I'm not crazy. This is used before that to the 4 people here, right? See, in my defense, that's like the only frame really where there are 5 people, right? Think about here. I realize even more out of it. So it's 4 people, right? But there's something a little blue over there. There's a 5th person standing behind the rock. Look at that, yeah! See, I'm not crazy, guy. I'm not blind. See, there's like one woman standing over there, right? In that, because there's like a little blue line there. Do you see that? This is at minute 5.5. So 5 seconds after 5 minutes. 5. There's like, it's clearly like one person standing over there, right? So yeah, I wouldn't say it was easier to see 5 people. See if you go there a bit, you can see one person standing over there, right? See? There's like one thing over there. And there's like a little bit over here now, maybe, yeah. But yeah, in my defense, right, there was like no other. There was basically almost 0 scenes where there were 5 people. I guess I could have spotted it earlier. Here, this here is the best one. Now they're all standing kind of like, where was it? This is the best one, right? Where you kind of see all 5 of them, yeah. So there's only like two very brief moments, right? So in my defense, I'm not completely crazy. What do you guys think? But I was like, yeah, it was like interesting there, because I realized when I paused, like, wait a minute, it's 5 people, right? It's like, but as a side note though, I'm going into these different, right, Japanese music bands now. I'm also asking for more recommendations, right? gone over most many of the most popular ones, right? And there are other ones that I'm still looking into, right? So it's always like the comment below, it's all the bands to check out, right? And last Sunday, I was spending time, because Sundays are usually my like new music day, right? Just like I started with Hagane on Sunday. So I have to, I don't know what to call it, but I went down digging night and just reading different articles on about different Japanese like rock band, girl bands, whatever, metal, power bands, whatever, right? Last Sunday. And I do find it fascinating, but also honestly, a little bit confusing. I mean, genuinely, even though I heard many of these bands now, because you're like, oh, it's so she was part of LOVEBITES before, Distorte, they had this band, and then they changed to that band, and then they had this other band, right? People recommended that. What is it called? Bloody Mary's Blood? Not Bloody Mary, but Mary's Blood. They had some people that knew them and so on, right? It seems to be a little bit that like small world thing. Because when I'm trying to read this stuff, right, I'm just looking at being like, oh, so she played with her before, then she changed band, now they have a new band, now they have a band, now they have a band, then she was adding with them, so they quit. If it's a lot of this like, you know, you're doing this like red map thing, like how the hell this all starts, right? So that's what I learned trying to research this thing, honestly, a little bit, how it genuinely feels kind of complicated because, you know, I'm just being like, oh, because, yeah, someone recommended, you know, Trident to me, right? So then I'm reading about Trident a little bit, because I want to read a little bit like, before I do the reaction, maybe. I want to jump into it, but like, I used to read very briefly, okay, what is it? So I have a very, I don't want to get spoiled on me, but it's a very, very brief, like, understanding of them. Okay, Trident. So, so you used to play with them before she played Hagane. Okay, that's how that connects, right? But it's a lot like that, where you feel they have changed band members all the time, right? So it feels like they're living in a small, but I guess it can't be that many. Even in Japan's a big country, but there can't be that many like very talented female musicians in this kind of genre. It's not that many of them, right? It does feel that they all know everyone. It's kind of like when I worked in the game industry, especially in Sweden, but I worked in the US on too, right? But especially Sweden, right? It's like everyone really knows everyone, right? I started working at one game company a couple of years ago, and there's this new guy there, and then he's like, oh, you know her? Oh, yeah, blah, blah. It's always like that. It's always like that. You come in there, and you're like, oh, I used to work at, oh, I know a girl that worked there. Oh, you mean that woman? Oh, yeah, I know her too. Yeah, she's one of my best friends. Oh, really? It's always that feeling, right? It's always that feeling. Thought about another video. I was working with Blizzard, and I met a guy that was in the same guild as like the best clan of this video game with one of my shadow best friends. And I was like, what, you know that guy? He's from Sweden too. Oh my god, just that guy. Yeah, it's like, it's almost that's what I feel when I read a little bit of this girl rock bands in Japan. It feels like everyone has been a party member of everyone before. Yeah, doesn't it? Yeah, explain it to me in the comments. But it really is like, man, it's so, yeah, I was like, oh, wait, they have the same band before? Whatever, guys, let me subscribe and have a great day.